The traditional software engineer is becoming an endangered species, but not because coding is dying. No, something else is happening. We're watching a new breed emerge, people who don't really fit into designer or developer or product manager. They're all three, sometimes in the same afternoon. And AI? Well, AI is the thing that makes this possible. If you've been building software for any amount of time, most probably you've already felt the shift. The rules have changed, and most people haven't caught up yet. Let's talk about why. Hey there, I'm Hack. I've been coding since I was 13 years old. Back in 2003, Visual Basic 6 and copy-pasting code I didn't quite understand from forums, that was the norm for me. Sold my first piece of software when I was 15. It was a buggy internet cafe management system, which I sold for about 60-70 euros back then, and I had to maintain it on site for months. Now, 20 years later, in 2025, I see people with zero coding experience build products in a weekend that would have taken me months to build back then. And the strange thing is that I'm not threatened by this, not anymore. I'm actually excited. Because what's happening these days is not AI replacing developers. No, it's something way more interesting. We're entering the age of the product builder. The generalist, the person who can see the whole picture. The person who can put together puzzle pieces cross-domain. Design, engineering, business, user psychology, all at once. And in this video, I want to break down what that means. Why craft matters now more than ever, and why people who win in this new era might not be who you expect. For decades, software development looked the same. Designers designed, developers coded, product managers made spreadsheets and scheduled meetings. Everyone stayed in their lane, and to be honest, it worked, for a while at least. But the world got faster. User expectations changed, and that old assembly line model started showing cracks. Now we have something different. The product builder doesn't ask, "What's my job description?" They ask, "What problem are we solving and how fast can we test it to see if the solution works?" They're not defined by technical skills anymore. They're defined by their ability to connect dots across domains. Here's what AI actually did. It compressed the distance between I have an idea and I have a working prototype. What used to take days now takes hours, sometimes minutes even. You can go from a sketch in Figma to a functional React component in one conversation with Cloud Code or Cursor. You can generate database schemas, API endpoints, UI variations, all before lunch. But the thing that most people miss is this. Typing code was never the hard part. No, the hard part was knowing what to build, understanding the problem deeply enough that your solution actually matters. Now, AI handles the implementation friction, but it doesn't handle the thinking, at least not yet. That's still on you. Now let's be honest about something. There's a tsunami of AI slop hitting the market right now. Every week I see hundreds of vibe-coded tools get launched. Same templates, same UI patterns, same generic landing pages with the overused purple gradient buttons and the same AI-powered badges. The barriers to building have insanely dropped, which is incredible, don't get me wrong. But the barriers to building well, those are exactly where they've always been, if not higher. Think about it, if I can build something in a weekend, so can my competitor, so can 10 of my competitors, so can 100 people I've never heard of. So what separates you? Craft, taste, the attention to detail that makes someone choose your product over the other 47 that solve the same problem. The UI that feels right, the copy that sounds human, the interaction that surprises and delights instead of just, well, working. I've adopted this idea of minimum lovable product a few years ago. Not MVP, MLP. And I've tried to infuse this in everything I've been building for the past 2-3 years. Because viable is table stakes now. Anyone can build viable. The question is, can you build something people actually love using? And another thing about craft. AI can help you execute faster now, but it cannot tell you what good looks like for your specific users, your specific market, your specific vision. That judgment, that taste, that comes from you, the builder. The more AI handles the mechanical parts of building, the more the human parts matter. The creative direction, the product instincts, the willingness to say no, that's not quite right, even when the AI gives you something technically correct. For years, the career advice was specialize, pick a lane, go deep, become the world's best at something, one narrow thing, the specialist, the expert. And yes, that still has value to some degree, but things are shifting. The people I see thriving right now are the generalists, or what I call specialized generalists. They know enough about design to make good aesthetic decisions, enough about engineering to understand technical trade-offs, and enough about business to know which problems are worth solving. They don't need to be world-class at one single thing. They need to be good enough at multiple things to connect them in ways specialists can't. And here's another thing. These new product builders aren't coming from one demographic. They're not all 25-year-old CS grads from Stanford. They're 45-year-old domain experts who finally have the tools that let them build their ideas. They're 19-year-old in countries that never had access to Silicon Valley networks. They're career changers, hobbyists, retired professionals who suddenly realize that they can turn expertise into software. The democratization is real. AI doesn't care about your pedigree. It cares about whether you can articulate what you want and iterate on the output. That levels a playing field that's been tilted for decades. Now, I took all of 2023 off. I was burned out at the end of 2022 and I needed to step back for a while, do some unlearning, which can be a story for another time. But when I came back in 2024, the landscape had completely changed. AI tools that barely existed before were now an essential part of how I work. So I started Agentive.Studio, an AI product studio helping founders and startups build products for what's coming next. And I realized something early on when putting together the product studio. The skills that matter now aren't the ones I spent years grinding on. Not the syntax memorization, not the frameworks expertise. No, what matters now is the ability to see problems clearly, to know what users actually need, to have taste about what good looks like and feel like. Those skills don't come from tutorials. They come from building things, shipping things, watching people use what you built and being honest about what worked and what didn't. AI accelerates everything else, but not that. So where does this leave us? The age of the product builder is here. Whether you're ready for it or not, the people who thrive will be the ones who embrace the generalist path, who develop taste and craft, who use AI as a tool without letting it do their thinking for them. The barriers to entry are gone, near zero, which means the barriers to standing out are higher than ever. Build fast, yes, but build with intention. Build things that matter. Build things that people actually want to use, not just things that technically work. We're living through the best time in history to build something meaningful. The tools are incredible, and this is the worst they'll ever be. I was too young for the dot-com boom, but I'm not missing this one. Neither should you. If you're building something right now, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment. And if this resonated in any way, I have more coming up around AI, product building, and this next wave of software we're seeing. No hype, just the reality of building with AI from the trenches. Subscribe if you want to stick around. Now, let's build. Cheers.